really have a very good understanding of how to work around with foreign competency partners, foreign banks, financial advisors. They don't really trust, and I really want to say that many Chinese companies, when they go into those foreign markets, they don't have enough trust. They always think, well, I don't know, can I trust him, foreigners, in Europe, I don't know, they don't understand China, and I don't know, I don't want to trust it. I want to do it myself. So they all want to do it themselves, because they don't trust. There's not enough trust. So they always want to avoid those complicated things like lawyers or financial advisors. They don't trust them. And they think they're too expensive. And they think they're not needed. So they cannot solve the problem when it comes. Then we have understanding of the market. Understanding of the market is like the example of the car industry I've mentioned. People are different. We have towards consumer products, we have differences. Just look, for example, at mobile phones. Of course, everybody likes Apple, but this is an exception. Just look at a normal consumer with regards to a mobile phone, a smartphone in China and in Europe. Chinese have a different approach to consumer products. Like so many different tones and so many different colors and those shells, whatever. In Europe, when you go there and you buy shells for your telephone, there's not too many things. You don't have, ringtones and all that flashing and blinking thing. You don't have to. Because people have different things they look at. If you look at cars, in China now, information I read today coming out from the Shanghai Auto Show is how much foreign kind enterprises tend to invest on the Chinese market over the next years and how they will adapt their products to the Chinese market requirement. I remember at the beginning, foreign car brands, they thought it was very strange because when they sold their cars into the Chinese market, people had problems adapting. And then they thought, well, it's strange, it's a great brand, but you know what they figured out? In Europe, we are used to driving our cars. If you are the boss of a company or you are some whoever, if you are, you drive. I want to sit there, I want to sit in front, I need my space here, I want to move this and I want to move that. So in Europe, the car is focused on the front. Now in China, what the case was that if you are a boss, you are a leader, or you are whatever, you like to be driven. So you have your driver. You don't have your driver in Europe. In most cases you don't have. You want to drive. I don't need a driver. So I drive. But in China it's different. You don't drive. You have a driver. So you sit in the back of the car, on the rear seat. So your space, you need to have much more space. The driver is the driver, that's good, but you need more space because you are the boss and you sit here. And you want to control the music here and the air conditioning here and you want to read here and work here. So it needs adaptation. So products need to be adapted to the market. And Chinese companies in many cases don't yet understand that market. They don't yet understand the consumer because they don't do that much when it comes to understanding the consumer. I talk again about that very specific company. Of course, they make advertisements in the newspaper, on TV, say they have the greatest product. But if you ask the customer, what do you think about the company? What do you think about them? They said, we don't know. We don't know anything about them. It's like very mystical company. They just we just see their products, but we don't see the company. But in Europe, you want to see what is behind. You want to see the company behind that gives life to the product. But this was not so much the case in China. You saw the product, that's it. You see one thing, that's it. But you don't need to see what is behind all that. But European customers, they want to see that. They want to know exactly at the end of the day, who are you behind that product? Show yourself. Now I want to see you. I want to talk to you. I want to ask you. And this needs management of media, management of customers. And many Chinese companies, they're not really good at that yet. And then, of course, we have worry about Chinese products' quality. It's a complicated thing because, this takes time. Building up quality takes time. And then if you, in many foreign countries, when you talk about China, they only see the period of the last 20 years, 30 years, China just producing stuff. Microwave ovens, I don't know, Christmas tree stuff, whatever, toys. So cheap stuff being exported in huge quantities overseas. And then a lot of the cheap stuff was really cheap stuff because quality was very poor. And then they say, well, made in China. So it's a very bad thing. So you cannot go along the line. But China was very smart. They knew they need to improve. They knew they need to have good brands, good quality, a good reputation, and to try very hard to do that. And we have seen that some of them do a very good job. So in some instances, Chinese products are already considered quite good. But overall speaking, you currently still have a situation where many customers, they say, well, it's made in China. I don't know. I don't know. It's cheap and we don't know yet. So China needs to promote much better its quality. It needs to be much more direct with customers. So again, people want to know what is behind. How is China or the company, whatever, that is behind the product I intend to buy. So if I buy this product, it might look very nice. It might even work very properly. But what about maintenance? What about global guarantee? If I use now my phone and go to, I don't know where, what about global guarantee? Do I find a shop that can maintain what I buy here? We don't know. So also that global guarantee network, maintenance network, after-sales service will take a very long time for Chinese companies to develop. Because in most cases, of course, you can sell the product. That's a good product. It looks nice. But what if? What if I need after-sales service? What if I need to call someone? A hotline? What if? So many customers, they don't know. And they worry about that. And nobody gives them an answer yet. So China here will have to do a lot. And it all comes down to understanding the market and talking to the market and listening to the market and reacting to the requirements of the market. So those are the four major issues when we look at this side of the table. And this takes time. But there's not enough time, so Chinese companies, they will need to do a lot. Doing their homework, they will need to do a lot of working much closer together with the market. They will need to have much more transparency and show who is behind the product. And here we come to the final part of somehow trying to get that all together, of finding a picture. You see, we have talked about a lot